Is drop-off time filled with tears and heartache? Do you feel stressed and guilty every morning? Watching your child cry as you say goodbye can be very, very distressing. But having worked as a Norland nanny and as a daycare manager, I can share with you my strategies, how you can turn those goodbyes into calm and confident farewells. It's key that you need to be prepared in the morning. So you need to have everything ready for the drop-off. This means allowing yourself plenty of time. You don't want to rush. If you are rushing, your toddler will become anxious, and if they're anxious, they'll think there's something to be worried about, and they're more likely to cry when you leave them. If you need to get up a bit earlier, then do so. You need to have time, everything not to be rushed, that you can get dressed in a relaxed fashion, have breakfast, and then leave the house. It's also important, and these are things you can do the night before, to have the bag packed for daycare. So whatever the daycare centre needs you to have, then you make sure that you've got it packed in the bag the night before. I would also decide what your child's going to wear the next day. Make sure that coats and shoes are by the front door so you're not looking for them. And if your little one likes to take a favourite lovey with them to daycare, then make sure you know where that is and that you can find it instantly and take it. You don't want to be dashing around searching for it as you're leaving the house. And then I also suggest that you get excited about their day. Talk about what fun and exciting things they're going to do, who they're going to see and who they're going to play with. If they see that you're excited about the day, they're more likely to get caught up in the positive energy of it. So now we come to the difficult bit, the goodbye. And I would always suggest having a quick goodbye. If you can focus on what you're going to say and how you're going to behave during the goodbye, it's easier for you to keep on track and not get distracted. You can have fun things that you say to each other. There are things that you can do. You kiss on each cheek, on their nose, on their chin before you say goodbye. You can have a high five, whatever it is that works for you and your little one and the way you communicate with each other. Just do it quickly, get it over and done with, and then say your goodbye. It's also important that you're confident. If you have any anxiety that's leaking out, or they get a sense of any anxiety, they are more likely to get clingy because they'll think there's something to be worried about. So even if you're feeling anxious, then you have to fake it. You have to be confident that this is the best and the most fun thing that they are about to do. And this one I'm going to say very quickly, never, ever, ever sneak away. If you sneak away, then they are constantly going to cry when you are about to leave, because then they'll never trust you. It's far easier for them to process your leaving more quickly if they've actually seen you leave. Another good thing to do is to give them something to look forward to when you pick them up. So you're going to pick them up and you're going to go to the park. You're going to pick them up, you're going to go and visit their favourite friend. Give them something fun to look forward to. It's a really good motivator. Now, although I've said you should have a quick goodbye, for some children and for some parents, they feel the need to stay for a little bit longer. If staying with your little one for a very short space of time, settling them into their favourite activity, means that you can say goodbye, not sneak away, and leave without the tears, then that's fine, go ahead. But if there are tears anyway, then I would just say go for broke and make a quick goodbye and leave. In my experience as a daycare manager, quick goodbyes really do work so much better than long drawn out ones. And in most cases, children stop crying in a very short space of time once their mothers or fathers have left. It's also important that you ask the daycare to help. They can really assist you in the whole process of getting your little one settled in and helping you feel at ease with the fact that you are leaving your child in somebody else's care. Talk to the daycare centre and make sure that they will allow your little one to take a favourite toy or blanket with them, especially when they are new to daycare. It's really helpful for them to have that because it will offer them a great deal of comfort. It's also important that you keep the daycare centre informed and tell them as much as you possibly can about the personality of your child. So if your child is one of those that likes to stand on the outskirts of play and watch first before they move in and do something, it's really helpful if the daycare centre can know that. Or if they're a child that likes to get stuck in and they have fixated on a favourite activity, let them know that as well. Then you can go to the daycare centre and whoever's in charge and say, could you please make sure my child gets to play with that activity, especially during the settling in period when they arrive, or could you steer them towards it? The daycare centre needs to know as much as they possibly can about your child, and in that way they can really help you and your child settle into the new routine so much better. And finally, be kind to yourself and to your little one and don't expect miracles. In my experience, especially when I was running the daycare centre, it can take up to 2 weeks for the average child to settle into that new routine. And it is perfectly normal for babies and toddlers to cry when they are left at daycare. You also need to be prepared that you might get a regression. So your little one may either love it to begin with and then start to not love it. And that can be due to the fact that now they realise it's permanent. A lot of children think, oh, this is great for a short period of time, and they think it's a bit like a holiday. And then when they realise it's permanent, then they start to kick off. So a little bit down the line. But you just need to stick to those routines and stick to all those things we've talked about today in order to keep things on track. And if a big change happens at home, then your little one, after having settled in nicely, might suddenly start to become more clingy. And those are things that would trigger normal separation anxiety. So as the arrival of a new sibling, maybe they've dropped a nap and they're more tired than usual, you've moved house, anything that's a big change can easily disrupt their routine, make them more prone to separation anxiety, and therefore make the drop-off a bit more difficult for them again. And they will get back on track. It's just an adjustment period. It's just like any other regression. You can get things back on track by following these important steps that I've mentioned today. So thank you for listening, and I will close by saying that the fact that your little one is upset when they leave you means that they have bonded with you really well. And I understand how difficult it is and how guilty you might be feeling. But ultimately, the daycare experience can be a very positive one for your little one socially. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I always love to hear from you, and if there's any topic that you'd like me to cover, please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you next time.